Hey, good day, viewers. Welcome back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. Hey, let's talk about this beautiful concept called the Golden Rule. I know for years and years, in this country especially, people associate this wonderful thing called the Golden Rule with the Bible or with Christianity. Let's find out if it's more than just the Bible. The Golden Rule is simply a principle, a foundational truth, an idea, a belief of treating others as you want to be treated. And it's found in get this, 14 versions. And in most religions and cultures. Now, we know the Christian version of it, obviously. Most of us remember, if we came out of Christianity, the New Testament, right? Do to others as you would have them do to you. Now, my friend Jason Fry, the president of the Association of Humanists of San Diego, California, on his show last week, he had a guest who was a retired Methodist pastor, more of a progressive liberal individual. So he was on for Jason's people in the humanist group to get an understanding of what a progressive liberal Methodist pastor thinks about humanists and vice versa, right? And the pastor was explaining to this humanist group via online, right? And he was talking about the advantages of being a Christian in his perspective, his worldview over non-belief, secular humanism. The first thing he said was, we as believers have, and I couldn't believe it, but he said it, the Golden Rule. Now, here's a man of great education, a scholar, if you will, a doctorate degrees in theology and philosophy, a well-educated man, a very nice man, who has evolved his theology from evangelical all the way to progressive liberal. I give him credit for all that. But even here, in this instance, this proves to me that many people, even that are liberal progressives, don't quite understand what humanism is about. Now, whose fault is that? Can we only blame the Bible? Can we only blame the Christian preachers for embellishing or lying and giving false information about what humanism is about? I've done messages on this in defense of secular humanism, right? Maybe it's some of our fault. Maybe we should be the ones out there educating and promoting this wonderful worldview. Now, according to this pastor, he actually believed that the Golden Rule came exclusively from the Bible. Now, there are different forms of the Golden Rule. I'm not going to get into the negative form nor the positive form. I really don't care. I'm not here to debate and argue, and I know some of you are going to want to debate on this, whether it should be the negative form or the positive form. I don't care. You know what I care about? I care about just doing it. Just get out there and do it, because it's good. I'll tell you why. Let's go over the different versions first of all. Now, let's start out with Hinduism. And again, most of these preceded Christianity by hundreds of years. Here's the version from Hinduism. Do not unto others which would cause you pain if done to you. I like that. How about Buddhism? Again, 500 to 700 years prior to Jesus. Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. This is basically called the ethic of reciprocity. We will discuss this in a few minutes. Now, let's move on down to the very, very popular Confucianism. I've discussed this before on the origin of primitive humanism and how a lot of it came from Confucius and the other philosophers, the Eastern philosophers, Chinese, Greek, Roman, all the way up. Now, Confucianism, their version, try your best to treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. I like that. And you will find that this is the shortest way to benevolence. Good stuff. Now let's move down. Here's some more. This is interesting. Actually, there's some evidence that the ancient Egyptians had a form and a version of a golden rule. This is 1800 BCE. In other words, 3,800 years ago, approximately, most historians agree. And here's their version. Do for one who may do for you, that you may cause him thus to do. Do for one who may do for you, that you may cause him thus to do. I'm not a rapper. I just had to throw that in there. I'll stick to piano playing and writing music. That's a good one. Islam's got a version of it. Jainism, here you go. A man should wander about treating all creatures as he himself would be treated. Judaism, of course, has one. Native American spirituality. Respect for all life is the foundation, the great law of peace. The Roman pagan religions had their version of the golden rule. Now, let me close with this one. Yes, Satanism. Even Satanism. Now, when you understand this, most people in that movement don't actually believe in the devil. But let's just go ahead and throw out and tell you what they have, what they believe. There are 7 tenets in Satanism, 7 principles or beliefs. These are all very humanistic. The first one is very, very similar to the golden rule. Strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. Boy, that's of the devil. I hear believers through the years tell me that any other belief system outside of Christianity is of Satan, right? And I'll talk about Satanism, Confucianism, and I'll quote some of this to them. And I always say, boy, I tell you, this is really devilish. This is evil stuff, isn't it? To treat other people with compassion and empathy. So again, this is our responsibility to educate people and let them know that this all predated Christianity. All right, so there are so many other versions of it. I don't have time to go over this. Now let's talk about why practice the golden rule. What is the importance of the golden rule? Number one, it is simply biological. It's in us as a social animal. It motivates us to do what benefits the entire species. And all we have to do is use empiricism, the scientific method, experimentation, observation, and questioning. We can observe the natural world. We can consider and observe the ants, the termites, and the bees. Yes, and all other social animals and how they have it in them to do good for others. We as a social animal have that in us. Now, there's a reason that we have that. It makes you feel good. Number two, why? It makes you feel good. It makes you feel good when you say good morning to somebody and smile and make them smile back. It makes you feel good when you do a good deed for someone else. It doesn't make you feel bad. It makes you feel good when you treat other people and help them make their day to become a better day. It makes me feel good when I hear my clients say, David, thank you for coming here. I'm lonely. I'm 70 years old. I lost my husband years ago to cancer, and we have this thing called COVID-19. But you helped me have a good day and make me feel better. You made me happy. You made me laugh. You tell me stories, and you listen to me. Now that makes me feel good to make her feel good. Now, an example of this. This is simply our genes rewarding us to do this essential thing called goodness for others. Yes, the golden rule. This is reciprocal altruism. This is I will scratch your back if you scratch my back. This is how reality works. Now, why does it feel so good when you eat a decadent, delicious meal? When you're hungry, why does it smell so good? Why is it so pleasurable? Because things that are vital for human existence, things that are vital to procreate and keep our species moving ahead and advancing, they feel good. Eating feels good, tastes good. It's a wonderful experience. If we did not eat, we would cease to exist as a species. That is why it's pleasurable. It feels good to do that. Let's take sex. Yeah, the Preaching Humanist is discussing sex. Why does that feel so good? Why is it such a pleasurable act? Well, it's supposed to be. For some people, it may not be. But why? Because if we did not have pleasure with this act of procreation and sex, we would not exist. We would cease to exist as a species. Folks, this is all biological. The golden rule principle. We treat other people because, first of all, it makes you feel good to do something good for someone else so that they will treat you good as well. It benefits you, it benefits I, it benefits all. Let's take this principle, which is very humanistic. Let's share it, let's live it, and let's make the world better. So remember, my friends, to let the light and let the compassion, and remember, just go out there and do it. Let the light of humanism shine. Have a wonderful day.